Hi, this is Carl, and this is part 2 of the discussion on the Michel Thomas language learning methodology. Now, I'll just recap what I mentioned in part 1. I made reference to the fact that the spoken language was the most common, the most frequent form of everyday communication, the fact that the number of spoken words on a daily basis would be much higher than would appear in any written communications between two or more individuals, either by letter or by email, etc. And I also said that it was by no coincidence that Michel Thomas had chosen the spoken form of the language as the initial point of departure in all of his courses in order to enable anyone who is interested in learning modern foreign language to achieve that particular goal. And one of the reasons I gave for this, as you can see here on the second sheet of paper, is that the spoken language imitates the realistic means of acquiring a language, especially where the mother tongue is concerned. In other words, as we're growing up as children, we become accustomed to the sounds and repeating the sounds before in later years we improve our reading and writing skills. So let's move on to the third sheet now. And actually, as I'm recording these videos, I'm thinking that maybe this will end up being a 4-part series, but we'll see in due course. The Michel Thomas courses focus exclusively on enabling anyone who is interested in learning a modern foreign language to improve their spoken skills, and at the same time do so by becoming accustomed to the sounds which exist amongst words in the modern foreign language of his or her choice. So what we get is an explanation of the linguistic structures, the workings of words, the placement of words, an understanding of the syntax, etc. And on the basis of all that knowledge, the tutor requires us to give and render translations into the target language from English of a particular sentence, and thereafter, even if the tutee has made mistakes, then the understanding will be either be simplified or will be reiterated and revised, and as soon as the tutee has given the accurate rendition of the translation, then the person who is teaching, usually a native speaker but not always the case, will then repeat accurately, using accurate pronunciation and appropriate intonation, the example of language which was initially requested to be translated. Now, after the Michel Thomas advanced course is concluded in any particular modern foreign language, one of Michel Thomas's suggestions is that we go away as learners of that modern foreign language and that we start to read more of the language, for example, newspaper articles or magazine articles, since in, for example, interviews, we become accustomed to realistic forms of language, in other words, the way in which people speak. So it's by no coincidence that although Michel Thomas requires, as part of his methodology and in his encouragement to offer an appropriate methodology, that he encourages us first and foremost to speak and listen to the language, what he's then suggesting in a way is that once we've finished with that methodology, we go away and we expand on our different learning styles through reading the modern foreign language and improving our vocabulary that way, since by then, at the end of the course, we have a profound knowledge of the different linguistic structures which are in place, and what we can do then is to implement into a number of these different linguistic structures other nouns, more vocabulary, especially nouns, topic-based vocabulary. What he's trying to suggest to us is that the linguistic structures which he has taught to us and which we've used again and again using different, for example, tenses, we then have a good starting point in order to begin with topic-based vocabulary and to branch out our knowledge to improve our linguistic proficiency and to become well prepared for any situations which we might be in if we went on holiday abroad, for example. So that's what the post-MT stands for, the post-Michel Thomas method, if that particular term can be applied, or in better words, the post-Michel Thomas suggestion as far as language learning is concerned.